Hey everybody, John and Lance from the bench. Mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 here on SportsMap HOU. Hit subscribe right now so that you get all of our content here every single time we put something new out. Hey, Lance, Deshaun Watson, when he first demanded a trade, we identified June 1st as a date that, hey, this is a possibility because his dead cap would go from 21.6 to 5.4 million, which is much more doable. Now that we hit the deadline, how does this motivate Deshaun's team? Do you think maybe? Because we've heard Rusty Harden say, we don't want to negotiate. We want everything disclosed. They want non-disclosures. They're trying to negotiate and get out of this. Do you think this maybe motivates them to negotiate so that the Texans can make a trade now?
Nope. It's just too much. There's too much on the line here. There's too much of real money in Deshaun in terms of what Deshaun might have to pay out. I don't think, figuring out the differences between what the cap hit is for the Texans. I think Deshaun could give a crap less what the cap hit is for the Texans on, May 30th versus June 1st. I don't think he cares. I think what they care about is getting the most favorable outcome, which is going to be a settlement that they can. And so I don't think that really makes any difference. What it could do, though, is it could put some different pieces in play for the Texans in terms of, looking at players who might be available through cuts. They do have some money available, and I could see them maybe digging around. Not a lot, but they could start digging around on some players to add to the roster. I mean, it's not like the roster's a very good roster, but even still, if you get cut after June 1st and you're a veteran, do you really want to come to the Texans on a one-year deal? Is that really what you want to do?
Well, wherever the money, if it's Texans are your only offer or whatever. Right. Hey, I could play too. This is a great place to come and I can get on the field. That's for sure, especially if I'm a defensive player. I know that. But yeah, I don't see them being more motivated. But listen, it is going to make it easier on the Texans. And if Deshaun really wants out of here, then I could certainly see him saying, well, if it's easier for the club, I don't care that the club doesn't have the cap space or saves cap room, but if it makes it easier and I can get out of here, then I could be more motivated. But still, there's all kinds of things to play out before he's going to get traded.
I see, and that's why I don't think this matters at all for Deshaun in terms of getting anything settled. I think it's irrelevant. What it does do, though, is it now officially allows the Texans to start considering it. Like now it's a possibility. Now the Texans can start to craft. And once again, we've gone over this a few times, but nothing's going to happen for Deshaun Watson until the NFL steps in and makes their assessment of what his penalty is going to be.
Please let this be done. Let us know what the league is going to do. Let us know what the police are going to do so that you could trade Deshaun. You'll save a bunch of money on that cap. You'll save a bunch of money on Cobb. You'll save a bunch of money on Whitney Merciless, okay? So now all of a sudden you get draft picks for Deshaun. You're going to have a high draft pick because your team's going to suck this year. Now all of a sudden I can see a turnaround starting to happen a lot sooner rather than later.
But that's it though. They needed to. They're forced into a position where they're going to trade Deshaun Watson. Can you imagine if this hadn't happened and Deshaun still wanted out? I mean, we'd be in the middle of a game of chicken, which I don't think we're going to be in anymore. I think with all this stuff coming to light, I think the Texans will move on from him. But the best case scenario for the Texans to rebuild was always moving Deshaun Watson, at least rebuilding the rest of the roster. We already know if you don't have a good quarterback, you're always going to be limited. So, yeah, you're going to be on the lookout for a good quarterback, and maybe it's Davis Mills. We'll see.
Well, if this stuff didn't happen with Deshaun, the 22 lawsuits, which is a lot to not happen.
That's a lot.
22 of them.
That's a lot.
But if it didn't happen, guess what? You would be trading Deshaun Watson right now. I mean, I don't think this is an Aaron Rodgers situation.
You would have traded him before the draft, I think.
No, maybe not because of the cap hit. You might have waited.
Yeah,
you might have waited till
right.
now. You might have waited till now. So, and you know what? If all of this crap wasn't, I don't think this is an Aaron Rodgers situation at all. I think they would say, you know what, Deshaun, you want out. We'll get rid of you. We don't need this headache.
But I don't see it happening before the season starts. I really think the Texans are going to wait and see. All right, let's see who's bad next year. Let's get as many suitors to the table as possible, and let's try to get maximum draft value for Deshaun Watson. So we may talk about it before that happens, but I don't think Deshaun gets dealt until after the season is over, when teams know, or at some point where the Texans know what the draft is going to look like.
Well, no, and we know what the league has done too.
Right.
So nobody's trading for him without knowing how long he's going to be suspended.
That's a non-starter. It has to be out there.
Have to be.